मुच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः, श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ नमो गुरुभ्यः, श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। I welcome you all to this series of talks on Kaivalyopanishad, organized by our Brahmchari ashram in Mumbai, very traditional place of learning Shastra. Brahmchari ashram in Mumbai has organized these talks for reaching out to the younger generation who might be more convenient with talks in English. So to just bring their attention, to make them move, get attracted towards the Shastra, these talks are organized. And another big occasion is that our Shri Swami Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj has dropped his Sharira. He has attained Mahasamadhi on September 20. Brahmcharin Swami Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj was a disciple of both Shri Swami Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj and Maharaj Shri Swami Shri Akhandananda Saraswati Maharaj. Swami Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj took sannyasa diksha and studied Vedanta with Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj. Swami Shri Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj also spent 11 or so years studying with Swami Shri Akhandananda Saraswati Maharaj, and so he's a very unique Mahatma in that way. Swami Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj is a very unique Mahatma in that way. So as a part of this Kaivalyopanishad session, the duration, initially I wish I can say something about Brahmcharin Swamiji. Swamiji was a Devata. He was a walking Devata in my view, because I was very close with Swamiji until this last minute, until he dropped his Sharira for the last 9 or so years. And I have very tremendous amount of positive experiences with Swamiji in terms of learning, in terms of just studying with Swamiji and learning from his experiences, listening to him, and see how Swamiji would conduct himself under different circumstances. See how a Mahatma would do Vyavahara, see how a Mahatma will have the drishti, vision, at the same time do what is needed to be done. So this kind of experiences, I have plenty of them. Not because of my any big association, it's more because of Swamiji's love and compassion, which we all miss today in the physical form. So every one of these sessions, I would like to remind us of Swamiji in my own words. Words always fall short when we describe our Swami Pratyag Bodhananda Maharaj, but still I am just humbly happy, modestly happy that I am able to speak about that great Mahatma every time. So this will be an ongoing series for 14 days, and the series is for Kaivalyopanishad. Even that topic was chosen because Swami Pratikpadanji Maharaj was supposed to deliver the topic. That was one of the choices given to Swamiji Maharaj for Prempuri Ashram. Mahatma's grace, Mahatma's kripa, that I have been, promoted kind of to be. I've been asked, requested by our Prempuri Ashram to deliver these talks, and I immediately accepted for two reasons. One, it is I felt it is a blessing of our Swami Pratikpadanji Maharaj, who only introduced me to Prempuri Ashram. And number two, or even more important, is Prempuri Ashram is a very traditional place of learning. And when they had the desire to reach out to the youngsters, I decided I will do my part. And so I think it's a double blessing for me to be able to do this. Now we'll start with the prayer, prarthana, and enter into the Upanishad today and continue for the next 13 sessions every day, one session every day. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the Shanti Mantra we chant before any Upanishad, any session on Vedanta, and the Kaivalyopanishad also. There's one school of thought which believes the Kaivalyopanishad is a part of Yajurveda. So Shanti Mantra for Yajurveda is Sahana Bhavatu, which we just did. There is also another view where they have allocated the Kaivalyopanishad for Atharva Veda as one of the Vedanta texts within Atharva Veda and not Yajurveda. So these are two pakshas, two sides. So here I am giving the Shanti Pata, which is the Atharva Veda Shanti Pata also. Let me do that also. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnu Yamadevaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštavagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitan Yadayo Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatiru Dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the Shanti Mantra for Atharva Veda Upanishads. So there are two schools of thoughts. According to Muktikopanishad, which is the Upanishad taught by Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan himself to Hanuman, Sri Hanumanji. So according to this Upanishad, Kaivalyopanishad is a part of Yajurveda. So the Shanti Mantra we did was Sahana Bhavatu for Yajurveda Upanishad. Now, any Shanti Mantra, any mantra, Veda Mantra would start with Omkara, Om, right? So this Om, it is the sound which is important. When it comes to Om, we are very familiar with both the sound and the form. Omkara sound and the form of Omkara. The sound is what is a representation of Parabrahma, of Ishvara. Whereas the form is secondary. So when it comes to Omkara, our meditation or our focus has to be more on the sound rather than on the form of Omkara. More on the Shabda rather than the Pratika of Omkara. Rather than the Pratima of Omkara, the focus can be more on the sound. And if you analyze the sound Omkara has got A, U, ma. A, u, ma. There are three matras, right? So, this a matra and u matra and ma matra can be used to represent so many things in the creation. A, u, ma can represent at a physical level, at our individual level as a person. I can represent the akara to the sthula sharira, which is the gross body which you see in the screen. Your gross body, my gross body, it's called a rupam. Then ukara, u can represent your subtle body or sukshma sharira. Gross body is called sthula sharira. Subtle body is called sukshma sharira. Sukshma sharira, for now you can take it as your mind and your senses, mind and senses. So senses, you may think, it is why should we put the senses in the category of subtle body? Yeah, am I not able to see my eyes? Aren't you able to see my ears, nose, mouth? Because these are the sense organs, right? The skin, touch. We have to see, we have to take the senses as the power behind these physical forms of eyes, ears and nose. Because the eyes can be seen and someone's eyes might still be defective. He might be even a blind person with a physical eye which looks as good as anyone's physical eye, right? So that's a possibility. Likewise, the arms, hands, it's called, it's a part of karmendriya. The pancha jnanendriya or eyes, nose, ears, tongue, eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. And the pancha karmendriya or the organs of action or hands, legs, speech, hands, legs, speech, the organ of excretion and the organ of reproduction. So pancha pranendriya, pancha karmendriya, pancha jnanendriya and then pancha prana. What are the pancha pranas? Prana, apana, udana, vayana, samana. This pancha prana. We'll all see if there is an opportunity, we'll see all that as we go to the Upanishad. Here I'm just mentioning the names. Prana is the prana shakti with which we breathe. Prana, apana is the shakti of exhalation. Breathe in, breathe out. Prana, apana, vyana. Vyana is the shakti which is operating our internal organs. Vyana. Udana is the shakti with which we send some things out. The hydraulic power with which we are able to send something out. Then Vyana Samana is the circulation system. Likewise, we have all this Pancha Prana also. Pancha Prana, these are all our subtle body. So we also identify with our subtle body, right? So I identify myself with my moods. I identify myself with my sense of feeling happy. I'm sad. I'm moody. I'm bored, right? So this is the subtle body. You identify with this body also, which is a subtle body which you cannot see. So those are the fives. Those are called subtle body. So ukara in the omkara represents the subtle body. U and makara. Makara represents the karana sharira. Karana sharira is the causal body, not casual body. It's called causal body. So the causal body is what? It is the cause for this sthula and sukshma sharira. The causal body is the cause for the sthula sharira, the gross body, and sukshma sharira, the subtle body. Why should we have this third category, causal body? We should have a third category because we all have a individual cause. Why I should have a sthula sharira of this form? Why should I have a sthula sharira of a human being? Why should I have a sthula sharira of a man? Why should someone else have some other animal have a sthula sharira of, say, a lion or tiger or a monkey? So this sthula sharira varies. And obviously the sukshma sharira also varies. So the question would be, what is the cause for this variation? So that cause we attribute to the third sharira called causal body or karana sharira. So every individual has a causal body also. So the akara, ukara and makara respectively represent the gross body, subtle body and the causal body. That being said, all these bodies, behind all these bodies there is an adhisthana. There is what is called adhisthana. Before we get into the adhisthana, we'll have to also see, just as at an individual level we have these three bodies, likewise at a cosmic level also, we have three different categories. At a cosmic level also there's a cosmic gross body, and that is called, that cosmic gross body is called Virat, Vaishvanara, Virat. Then there is a cosmic subtle body. It is a sum total of all the minds, all our minds and senses, sum total of all of that, because there is some kind of a coordination, between what I want to do, say with Prem Puri, and what they are doing for me and what I am doing for them, and what I received from Swamiji and what I am giving back. This kind of a coordination between all the minds, right? So that unity, the symphony between the minds, we are saying that is all together. It is called Samashti Sukshma Sharira. Just like we saw Samashti Sthula Sharira as Virat, the Samashti Sukshma Sharira is called Hiranyagarbha. So the Akara can represent the Samashti Sthula Sharira Virat, Ukara can represent the Samashti Sukshma Sharira Hiranyagarbha, and Makara can represent the Samashti Karana Sharira, the cause, Ishvara. Makara can represent Ishvara, who is the Samashti Karana Sharira, sum total of all the causal bodies, Bhagavan, Ishvara. So Akara, Ukara and Makara can also be represented by the Sthula, Sukshma, Karana Sharira in the Samashti level and also at the Vyashti level. Then there's something called, we have to be familiar with this word Adhisthana, very important. Adhisthana. So when we see a snake on a rope, we have to say the rope is the Adhisthana for the snake. We cannot say the rope as the Karana for the snake, because the cause for seeing a snake on the rope is our ignorance of the rope. So the cause is avidya, the cause is ignorance, right? Ignorance of the rope and previous knowledge of snake makes us see the snake on the rope, whereas there is only rope. But we need the rope as the adhisthana, as the vivarta karana. Vivarta karana is another new word I am introducing, as the changeless cause. It doesn't change. The rope doesn't change and become snake. So the change has happened in your mind, which is because of the lack of vision or dim light, has taken the rope to be the snake. So we can see there's a karana and there's an adhisthana. Adhisthana, so everything has to have an adhisthana. There is nothing which is possible without an adhisthana. So the reality of snake is the adhisthana. So that we can say adhisthana as a reality of everything. Adhisthana as a reality of everything. Adhisthana of snake is rope. Adhisthana of a streak of water, which we mistake looking at the rope, is what? Rope. Adhisthana of seeing a stick in the place of a rope. What is the adhisthana for the stick? Rope. Likewise, we can take the clay and pot also. Adhisthana for the pot is clay. Adhisthana for the stove, which can be made out of clay, by the way. In the olden days, they make the stove also out of clay. Adhisthana for that stove made of clay is clay. Adhisthana, say, for the lid to close the pot, which might also be made of clay. If it is made of clay, the adhisthana for that lid also can be clay. So as you can see, the adhisthana is one. Likewise, for the entire Srishti also, adhisthana, for the entire creation, for my own sthula sukshma sharira, what is the adhisthana? For the creation, for the entire jagat, prapancha, what is the adhisthana? What is the reality? Without which nothing is possible. Without the adhisthana of clay, all the clay objects, we cannot even imagine them, right? They are not possible. So likewise, what is the adhisthana for the entire creation, for the jagat, which includes us, which includes our body, mind and senses? That adhisthana cannot be small. It has to be big. The word for big, unqualified big, unqualified great adhisthana, the word for that is, in our Shastra, is Brahma. Adhisthana is Brahma. So that Brahma, where is it represented in Omkara? The Brahma is represented by, if you say Omkara twice, thrice, say Om, Om, Om. Adhisthana for this sound is the silence between two Omkaras. On the silence, I am able to say Om. The O, Auma, rises from the silence and resolves into silence. So that silence, that quietude, is the adhisthana, which is representing Brahman. Look at how beautifully they have represented the entire creation and the adhisthana, the reality behind the creation, using Omkara. That Omkara, it's about the sound, and we think of that sound, Om. Then Sahana Vavatu. Dvivachana is there, means dual form. Sahana Avatu. Sahana Avatu will become Sahana Vavatu, Sandhi. Avatu is protect. Hey Bhagavan, hey Ishvara, protect us, both of us. Who are the two? Guru and Shishya. Guru and Shishya, may Bhagavan protect us. Because the Guru has to teach the Shishya, and Shishya should be able to listen. And during the entire time, they need the Raksha from Ishvara in terms of providing all that is required. Removing all the obstacles, all pratibandha, all vigna has to be away from them. So, Sahana Bhavatu. Because the Shishya has to spend a length of time with the teacher. A length of time with the teacher, he has to do Shravana, he has to listen, study with the teacher. Study what? Study Vedanta Shastra. Why Vedanta Shastra? Because Vedanta Shastra is the Pramana. What is Pramana? Pramiyate iti Pramana. That which is the authority, or that which is the means for knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of Brahman. What is that knowledge of Brahman? That Brahman is the reality for everything, including yourself. Your Rupa you see, but your Swarupa is Brahman. Your Swarupa is Brahman. You are in reality Brahman. So this is the knowledge. And this knowledge, we cannot stumble upon this knowledge. As Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati would say, this knowledge, you cannot just accidentally hit upon this knowledge. You need words, proper words, words of Shastra, and a teacher, Guru, and he will expound the words, and that process is called Shravana. And then you have to resolve, along with the teacher, you have to resolve all your doubts, and that resolution is called Manana. Because we have to see the possibility of the impossible. What looks as impossible, we have to look at the possibility of that. The reality of that becomes clear. That reality, to understand, we have to do some mananam also. Shravana, manana, and then nididhyasanam. What is the third step? Nididhyasanam. So then, in spite of all this understanding, there's a viparita bhava, there is a dehatma buddhi. There is a dehatma buddhi, there is a parichinna buddhi. I still separate myself and see myself as an individual with my own likes and dislikes, and I sometimes keep pursuing. This error might be still there. That is viparita bhava, and resolving that viparita bhava, that process is called nididhyasanam. So for all this, sahana bhavatu, may Bhagavan give the rakshana, to the rakshana of the Guru and Shishya. Sahanau bhunaktu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Bhunaktu is again palan. Palana is poshana. May I be nourished. May the Guru and Shishya be nourished with what all it takes. So sahana bhavatu avatu. This rakshatu, please do the rakshana, protect us from all that is negative. But then taking you away from negativity is one thing, but giving you what is positive, that also has to happen. Sahanau bhunaktu, nourish you with what is all required. The right mind, right health, everything. People, they say sahanau bhunaktu. Bhunaktu means palan, bhunaktu means nourishing. So what they do, some of them, they use this Shanti mantra as a bhojan mantra. Sahana bhunaktu, may this bhojan nourish us, like that they use that. But the real way this Shanti mantra has to be used is to protect the teacher and student during the process of Shravana Marana and nourish them with the right knowledge. With the right knowledge. Right knowledge for the student, not for the teacher. Teacher is already enlightened. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Sahaviryam karavavahai. Bhagavan, give us the virya, samartham, samarthyam. Humko samarth banao. What samartha? Samartha is, viryam is also strength. What kind of strength should I need? That strength which can do a nasha of avidya. Nasha will do a bada of my samsara. Will make me see that give the strength so that I can see avidya as avidya, and my shoka moha, my sorrow and afflictions are part of samsara because of my avidya, because of my ignorance about what is real, what is changeless, I said. So that process, that strength for doing a tiraskarana, doing a negation, doing a badha, not a nasha, not destruction, just a negation of samsara. Negate, you need some strength. That strength is sahaviryam karavavahai, virya, that is a virya. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Tejasvi. Maybe both. So once the negation of samsara happens, then it is all your Brahma Varchas, Ojas, Tejas. You will be that illumined person. So I don't use the word enlightened person, I use lightened person. All your errors have gone and you are light, you are prepared, your mind is matured, and you know what is real from what depends on what is real. That distinction you know. That enlightenment. I can say enlightenment also. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Once I explain, then I can use the word enlightenment. Ma vidvishavahai. This is important. Ma vidvishavahai. Maybe not quarrel. The Guru and Shishya, may they not get into unproductive arguments. The Shishya might just pick on the Guru over time. You know, when you stay for a length of time with someone, then all these things come out. All your sense of doubt and fault finding. Shishya, talk about the Shishya. Everything, all of this comes out. So they may also affect, they may really affect the progress of the Shishya. He may do a big argument, and after a few days or few years, he will not have made any progress. So that fault-finding mind with the Guru Vakya. Guru may have, sometimes, he may have he might be occupied with something and he may not be able to deliver what he wants to deliver. That doesn't mean the Guru is at fault. So the Shishya has to express patience. It's a virtue. So for that sake, Tejasvinavaditam Mavid Vishavahe. Then Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 3 times Shanti. The 3 times Shanti is, they say, for the Tapa Traya Nivritti. 3 types of Tapa are possible. Tapa are afflictions. 3 types of sorrows are possible. There's one, sorrow is sorrow, but there are 3 ways in which one can feel sorrow. One can, because of which 3 sources of sorrow. One is Adi, Adhyatmikam. Sorrow can be because of my own mind, my own moods, my own sense of happiness and sadness. That can be a cause for the sorrow. My own sharira may not have the strength, may not have the energy on that day. The body can fall sick. So all these things are Adhyatmika Tapa. Then Adi Bhautika Tapa is, there can be a Tapa, there can be affliction because of the surroundings. There can be afflictions because of the surroundings. So that is Adi Bhautika Tapa. Because of neighbors, there may be noise. Even when I am doing this recording, there may be noise from outside. I cannot do much about it. So this is all Adi Bhautika, obstacles of Tapa, Shanti from that also. And finally, Adi Daivikam, Bhukampa, earthquake and tsunami and whatnot. There can be all other kinds of uncontrollable source of sorrow. So to be released from those uncontrollable sources, like this coronavirus. So that coronavirus, we don't have any control yet. There are countries which are coming out with vaccinations, which is very good. But still, they are working on it. There's more, even today, there's more what we don't know about this virus than what we know. So this is all can be in the category of Adi Daivika Tapa. So these 3, Shanti from these 3 afflictions, we say 3 Shanti. Look how nice and meaningful, how nice and reasonable our Shanti mantra is. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. With this, we can now enter into Kaivalyopanishad after the Shanti mantra. There's a Tika. What is a Tika? The Tika is a commentary So the mantras are there. Kaivalyopanishad has got some 28 mantras, and each of the mantra is being commented upon by a great Mahatma by name Shankaranandaji Maharaj. We know Adi Shankaracharya, but what the name I told right now is Shankaranandaji. Who is Shankaranandaji Maharaj? Shankaranandaji Maharaj is the guru for Vidyaranyaji Maharaj. Who is Vidyaranyaji Maharaj? Vidyaranyaji Maharaj is the Rachika, is the author of Panchadashi. What is Panchadashi? What is this Panchadashi text? It is a collection of 15 chapters, one of the most popular Prakarana Grantha, means one of the most popular beginner's text for Vedanta. Beginner to advanced, it is a great resource. It's like a reference book. It has got the basics and it has got the advanced. So that is the Panchadashi, very popular text. That is written by Vidyaranyaji Maharaj. And Vidyaranyaji Maharaj, another information is one of the Shankaracharya. He was one of the Shankaracharya of the Sringeri Matha. So that Vidyaranyaji Maharaj's Guru Shankaranji has commented upon this Kaivalyopanishad. And he has his own starting prayer, Prarthana, Mangalacharana. Let us see what is that. Kaivalyopanishadam Kaivalyatavabodhini Yakyasye kevalastena Kaivalyatma prasidatu. This is the Mangalacharana. Kaivalya Akya Yasya Asau Upanishadapi. This Kaivalya Upanishad, it's Kaivalya. The word Kaivalya, how is it? What does it mean? Kaivalya is a Tadhita Prayoga. It is a desiderative form of the word Kevala. Kevala. Kevalasya bhavaha. Kevalasya bhavaha Kaivalyam. Kevalam Advitiyam Brahma. This bhava, this understanding, this seeing, this vision that what is here is Brahman. In reality, it is Brahman. The vision of rope. In spite of it looking at snake in dim light or looking at something else in dim light, this vision, this clarity, that is called Kevalasya Bhava. In spite of all the waves, the vision of water, that it is all water. The property of the waves is nothing but the property of water. Jalatmakam samudram. That vision of oneness of all the waves, all that is in reality water. So all the ornaments made of gold is in reality gold. The weight of the ornaments is nothing but the weight of the gold. The value of the ornaments is the value of gold. The ornaments can be different shape, can be broken, it can be in the form of a small ring, or the ring can be made into a long chain, long thin chain, but we know it is of the same value because it is the same gold, if it is the same weight also. So that vision, that shantata, that prasannata is why? Because of the bhava, because of the understanding that kevalam ekameva dvitiyam ekam eva satyam, that Brahma Satyam understanding is Kevalasya Bhavam, that is Kaivalyam. Kaivalya, and this Upanishad talks about Brahman, about the vision of Brahman. That is why this Upanishad is called Kaivalyopanishad, Kaivalyopanishadam. Kaivalya Atha avabodhitam, avabodhitam. This jnanam. So this Kaivalyopanishad, this jnanam of Kaivalyopanishad. Bodha is jnanam. This bodha, yakyaste. I am trying to comment upon this. Who is saying this? Shankarani Maharaj is saying this. Yakyaste. Yakyasye. Kevalastena. By this Kaivalyopanishad Vyakya, Kaivalyatma prasidatu. Kaivalyatma is Paramatma, Bhagavan. Prasidatu. May Bhagavan be happy and make me accomplish this task of writing the commentary on this jnana, knowledge of Brahman called Kaivalyam in the form of this Upanishad, which is in the form of the Upanishad. This kind of a meaning comes out of this Mangalacharan by Shankarananji, and this is also a prayer. Mangalacharan as a prayer to Bhagavan, may you be happy, and Mangalacharan is also to also indicate what has been done in the commentary, the Suchana, in the form of the Suchana. Now, after this, we will see what is the background of this Upanishad. Bhagavati, Shrutihi. So this is all from Shankaranji's commentary. So I'll read the commentary and I'll also explain that in English. Bhagavati, Shrutihi, 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 Mata eva, Sukha Pratipatyartam, Kanchana, Ashvalayanam, Abhimukhi Kritya, Akyayikam, Avatarayati, Bhagavati Shruti. The Shruti, the Shastra, which is Bhagavati, which is Divine Mother, at the same time Mata, which is like our own Mata, our own Mother. With this, so that it's a Divine Mother, at the same time, it is a very personal Mother also, like our own Mother. It has got both the qualities. Why it has got both the qualities? Because Sukha Pratipatyartam. Sukha, for a very easy understanding. Only a mom would put all her effort to make the child understand something very easily. Hey, this is a fire, don't go near fire. So mom with a lot of love and at the same time some kind of strictness, she makes us understand, right? So that kind of an attitude, that kind of an approach, Shruti also has. So that is a Shruti Mata. Shruti means scriptures. Here, the Vedanta Shruti Mata. Kanchana Ashwa, it is taking up the story, Kanchana, of a rishi called Ashvalayanam. So we have to see how Shruti is being kind. It is being kind by starting this Upanishad with a story, small story. Don't expect a long story. Okay, a very small story of a great rishi by name Ashvalayana. Abhimukhi Kritya, just to bring that story of Ashvalayana and make us get focused on the intent on the Upanishad itself. Akyayikam, story, avatar, it is beginning with the story, it's starting with the story. Alright? Because what has to be told is so much of meaning about our reality and what it takes, all the sadhana, all the means, what all it takes and what all it needs. So those all things will be covered in the Upanishad. But it has to be covered, it is covered like a story, as if it's a dialogue between a Guru and Sishya. Most of our Upanishads have this pattern of a dialogue between a teacher and a student. What is the first mantra of this Upanishad? Atha Om Atha Ashvalayanah Bhagavantam Parameshtim Parisametya Uvacha. This is a very first line, first mantra in this Upanishad. Atha, it starts with Atha. Atha means thereafter. After what? We'll see. Thereafter. Ashvalayanah. Ashvalayanaha is the name of the Rishi, we say, right? What did Ashvalayana do? Uvacha, he went and said something to who? Bhagavantam. Bhagavantam, he went to Bhagavantam. Bhagavantam here is Brahmaji. He went to Brahmaji himself and said something. What? Which Brahmaji? Parameshthim. Bhagavantam Parameshthim. He is a Brahmaji who is a Srishtikarta, who is Parama. Parama, Sarvotkristam. He is the greatest of great. In the sense, he is the Parama Pitamaha. We will see that also. Parisametya and Uvacha, he went to Brahmaji. He went close to Brahmaji, as close as he could go with all the respects. Sametya means with all due respects, he went. Who went? Ashvalanji went, and Uvacha, he asked for something. We'll see what he has asked in the second mantra. Before that, we'll look into the commentary on this first mantra by Shankaranji. Atha, the Atha Shabda is Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna Sampatti Anantaram. What is this? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti. After relatively accomplishing the fourfold virtues. What are the fourfold virtues? The fourfold virtues are Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti and the Mokshutvam. Viveka is Atma, Anatma, Viveka, Vastu Viveka. As I told you before, what is the Adhisthana, what is the reality, what is changing and what is real behind those changing objects and situations, that understanding. Atma is changeless. Atma is Nityam. Atma eva Satyam. Your Swarupa is reality. All that Rupa we see, my form, your form, they keep changing. Knowledge of the Swarupa. Relative knowledge of Swarupa. You need that relative understanding. Then, of course, you will have the ultimate, absolute understanding. So, some relative understanding is Viveka. And then what happens after Viveka? Then there comes Vairagya. There's some kind of a objectivity. Please, translation in English would be dispassion. But I would like to use the word objectivity as used by Pujya Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj. Objective. So once you know what is real to some extent, then you have a relative objectivity in the sense you will not be carried away by samsara. You will not be carried away by your own likes and dislikes. You will not be swayed away by your extreme sense of what is pleasing and what is displeasing. This is called Vairagya. Ihamutra phala bhogeshu virakta bhavaha. It may be even heaven or it may be something else. But you have an objectivity. Even if I go to heaven, I have to come back. And I'm able to go to heaven because of my punya papa. I have to do the parishrama, put so much effort for punya to be even able to get there. And then I have to come back anyway. So when this is going on, if this is going to go on forever, or if there is a reality where I can see myself free from even this sense of having to seek heaven, seek pleasures and all that. That is Vairagya. Then Shat Sampatti, there are sixfold virtues within the four virtues. Shama, some kind of a control over your mind, some kind of a say over your mind. Your mind is in your hands, so you can use it as a instrument to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Here you need to accomplish Shravana. You need to accomplish learning, right? Shastra. So this mind being with you for the sake of Shravana, for the sake of listening, for the sake of studying Shastra. Then Shama, then Dhamma. Control over here. So first is mind control. Shama is mind control. I won't use the word control. Having mind, having a say over the mind. So making the mind available. And the next one is Dhamma. Dhamma is making the body available, Indriya, senses available. The senses can take you for a ride because they are the seat where the sense objects come and sit initially, and then it goes, and then the mind gets carried away, right? So the sense objects also has to be in relative control. Your ears, your eyes, not always taking the mobile phone every second, even when you're sitting in the class. So your senses, I want to switch off my phone and then be focused on the Shastra. So this is the having the senses available for you is Dhamma. Shama, Dhamma, for the sake of studying Shastra, don't forget that goal. It is not for the sake of, becoming a Superman or getting some powers, just to study Shastra. Shama, Dhamma, Uparama. Third is Uparama, taking up those activities which are meaningful. Giving up, Uparati is giving up those activities which are meaningless. Party versus Satsanga, go to Satsanga. Party, you can go some other time also. You can meet the same group of people on a different occasion also. This kind of a maturity is Uparama. Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shitoshnadi, Sahishnutvam, they say. Definition like that. Shitoshnadi, Sahishnutvam. Shita, Ushna, Mana, Apamana. All pairs of opposites. All pairs of opposites, you're not swayed away by those pairs of opposites. That is Shama Dhamma, but then you also have some Titiksha, you also have some forbearance. You're able to bear them. You're able to, for the time being, bear them, endure them for the sake of Shravana, for the sake of studying Shastra. That is Titiksha. Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha. Then Shraddha, very important, right? We have heard the word Shraddha. Shraddha is what Astikya Buddhi. This teacher and this Shastra has something which I seek, very badly seek, which I need to know. I have this jijnasatvam, I need to know, and my knowledge is going to happen through the Shastra and the teacher expounding the Shastra. Astikya Buddhi towards Guru, Shastra Upadeshu, these areas, Shraddha. So I then spend the length of time. I don't keep skipping classes or keep hunting for teachers, changing teachers. Shramadama Uparama. Of course, we also say Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurubhyo Namaha is in plural. There are several teachers, several acharyas. We go to them and seek knowledge. But we just spend a length of time in dwelling with the subject matter. That is Shraddha. The subject matter is more important. And of course, it can be only handled by a competent teacher or more than a few teachers. Shraddha, then finally, Samadhanam. The teacher is going to expound you the words of the Shastra. Sadeva Saumya idamagre asit. All that is here is Brahman. In reality, you are Jivatma and Paramatma. If the Jivatvam, if it is dropped, and the Paramatvam of Paramatma becomes your Atma. In terms of Atma, in terms of reality, Ekameva Satyam. So in that reality, Samadhanam, my mind is the Buddhi is Samadhi. The Buddhi is always focused on that reality. That is Samadhanam. So even for focus, Samadhanam, even that focus, we have to see what is the object of focus, which is the words of Shastra. So you see, everything is connected to your studying all these 6 qualities. So we saw Viveka, we saw Vairagya, we saw the Shat Sampatti, the sixfold virtues, Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhana, and finally Mumukshutvam, the desire, the burning desire to know the reality in terms of the Shastra, the burning desire, that is Mumukshutva. These are all the fourfold qualifications. So Ashvalayana supposed to have gained all these qualifications, or for people like us, we are in the process, and along with that we also do Shravana. We study Shastra. So Shravana, for a buddhi which is not matured with these fourfold virtues, Shravana can be a sadhana, can be an instrument to gain these virtues. Shravana, the Shastra, which is talking about the reality, can become a sadhana for these virtues. And once these virtues are relatively accomplished, that same Shravana will be unfolding the reality in our minds, which is prepared with the virtues. Okay? So this is about the preparation. And people think Atha would mean after retirement. The after, thereafter word, it is not about after retirement, when our eyes and nose and ears are not functioning at that time, or maybe when we are doing our 80th, after the 80th birthday, Sadavishekam, Shravana, Kuriyat. It is not, after doesn't mean that, in terms of age, after you become old. Because these classes are meant for the youngsters, because I'm speaking in English. The goal is to have this Shastra Buddhi right from a younger age. Ashvalayana is the Atha. Ashvalayana is a Rishi, is a Rigveda Rishi. The Ashvalayana Sutra, which is followed by the Rigvedis, it is after this Ashvalayana Rishi. So he's a very learned person. Still, even for that learned person, who is required? A teacher is required. Bhagavantam. Who is the teacher here? Brahmaji himself. So, just to say that this Vedanta text is from Bhagavan himself, Brahmaji himself, to increase the desire for you to learn this text. The teacher is none other than Brahmaji himself. And Ashvalayana is a great student, but still he also needs a teacher. Guru Sishya Parampara. Guru Sishya Parampara. Who is a great teacher? The one who has been a great student. See that connection? So, every teacher was a student. So that is a parampara. There should be a parampara. That teacher you can follow. Brahmaji. Bhagavantam, because he is Pujavantam. He's got all the Aishwarya. He's got the Shara Aishwarya. We'll see that later in the next shloka. Why this word, what does the word Bhagavantam would mean? That word is coming in the next shloka also, in a different form. Parameshtim, Sarvotkristam. Sarvotkrishtha Sthana Nivasam. He is, Brahmaji is in Brahmaloka, which is the Sthana, which is the abode, which is a Sarvotkristam, which is the source of all, the entire source of entire creation. And also is a Kamalasanam, is a Kamalasana. Kamalasanam is one who is seated in the lotus. Kamala Nabha is Bhagavan Sri Vishnu. Kamalasana is Brahmaji, is seated on the lotus, above everything, above the entire creation, and he is able to create. Parisametya, pari means, going nearby, as close as possible. Pari means, going with, along with the teacher. Pari means going along with the teacher. Whether pari doesn't mean that, the teacher travels, the student also travels with the teacher and learns. Parisametya, ametya, sama is parisama, near. Etya, going near the teacher. Uvacha, said this. So this parisametya means, it also means, the teacher, you don't do the teaching in the cell phone, over the online computer and all that, which is, we are doing this because of the coronavirus situation. We are doing this online, so we don't want to give up the pravaha, the flow of Shastra, the flow of Satsanga. So that is why these efforts are being made. That this is, I want to say here that you have to go to the teacher. And here the teacher is none other than Brahmaji himself. So it is not about calling and finding out over phone what is Shastra, what is Brahman and all that. Brahmaji himself. And Brahmaji is our great-grandfather. He is a great-grandfather of Aspalayana. So we say, we don't stop with the father in heaven or father in above. We go up to the level of father's father, great-grandfather. So that is our religion, where we make such a good connection with all the father, grandfather and whatnot. We have all those, our devatas are all connected like that. And we know the connection. In the Shastra, all the connections is given also. Samyapti Uvacha, he said, what did he say? What did he say is going to be the topic for tomorrow's session. And so tomorrow's session will be starting with what did Aspalayana Rishi asked Brahmaji with all the vinayata, with all the humility and going near Bhagavan Brahmaji with all that is required to learn. He went to Bhagavan Brahmaji and he asked what? What did he ask? We'll see that in tomorrow's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Om Shanti Shanti.